Hello everybody, welcome to my channel Sparkle English, where I teach you how to improve your level of English. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos on how to improve your English writing skills, English reading skills, pronunciation, and more. Today's video is a highly requested video. It is a part of my English Writing Essentials series. And I'm going to teach you about basic hyphen rules so you know when to use hyphens when you're writing in English. So let's get started. A hyphen is a punctuation mark that we use to join words or parts of words. This right here is a hyphen. Now, in order to understand the importance of hyphens, let's read this sentence here together. We need hyphens because working 24-hour shifts is not the same as working 24-hour shifts or 24-hour shifts. What exactly does that mean? You can see here that we have used the hyphen differently in all three examples. The first one, 24-hour shifts. What this would mean would be that there would be 20 shifts, and if you don't know what a shift is, for example, if you work at a restaurant and you have to work from 9 to 5, that would be an 8-hour shift, okay? The first one, 24-hour shifts, would be 20 shifts of 4 hours. So for example, working from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And the second one, 24-hour shifts, would mean we're having 24 shifts that were an hour long each, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And the last one, 24-hour shifts, would mean shifts that are literally you working from 8 a.m. until 8 a.m. For example, maybe if you were a nurse or a doctor, working for 24 hours straight. Okay? So using hyphens is very important so it is clear what you mean. And I'm going to teach you how to use hyphens correctly. So let's continue. Hyphen rule 1A. Use a hyphen to join two or more words that serve as a single adjective before a noun. This is very important, before a noun. For example, a well-known actress, a kind-hearted man, a brand new phone, chocolate-covered pretzels. So you can see in all of these, we are using a hyphen to create these compound adjectives that are describing the noun. Okay, so we have to use a hyphen to join these words to make compound words or compound adjectives that serve as a single adjective when it is before the noun. Okay? Now, let's look at hyphen rule 1B. When compound modifiers come after a noun, they are not hyphenated. And a compound modifier consists of two words connected by a hyphen, which act together like one adjective. You could also call it a compound adjective. She was a well-known actress. That's correct because the noun, or the word we are modifying, comes after the compound adjective or the compound modifier. But if we were to say the actress was well-known, we would not put a hyphen here because the noun or the word we are modifying comes before, okay? So we only need to use a hyphen when we are creating a compound adjective that comes before the noun, okay? Another example, it is a dog-friendly restaurant. Or, is the restaurant dog-friendly? In this first sentence, we would use a hyphen because we are creating a compound adjective before the noun. But in the second example, because it comes after the noun, we do not use a hyphen. Now, hyphen rule 2. Use a hyphen with compound numbers. You should hyphenate compound numbers between 21 and 99, except, of course, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90. A compound number is any number that consists of two words. So let's look at some examples. 33. We use a hyphen to combine 30 and 3. 65. 82. Now let's look at this in a sentence example. There are 21 chickens on her farm. There were 132 people at the concert. We would not use a hyphen for 100 because we're only hyphenating compound numbers between 21 and 99. So you would write it like this: there were 132 people at the concert. Of course, you could also write it just like this, 132, but in some cases you have to write the full number. You have to write it out instead of writing the numerical value. And if you had to write it out, you would write it out like that. Another example, he was born in 1988. Okay, so if you had to write it out, that's how you would write it out. And if you were just providing a numerical value in digits, 1988. Okay, so you're only hyphenating the compound numbers between 21 and 99. Hyphen rule 3. Use a hyphen with the following prefixes. Now, remember, there are prefixes which come before a word and suffixes which come after a word. So with this rule, you have to use a hyphen with the following prefixes: ex, which means former or before, self, and all. So I'm going to show you some examples of this. My ex-boyfriend is Italian. Okay, we have to use a hyphen after this prefix to combine the prefix ex and the word boyfriend. The ex-mayor was a caring woman. I wish I had more self-confidence. Why are you so self-obsessed? Voldemort was an all-powerful wizard. God is an all-knowing being. So you just have to remember to use a hyphen with these prefixes: ex, self, and all. Hyphen rule 4. Use a hyphen between a prefix and a capitalized word. For example, right now there's a lot of talk going on about the presidential election, and there's a lot of people who are anti-Trump or pro-Trump. And because this is a capitalized word as a name, we have to use a hyphen between any prefix and the capitalized word. Another example, pre-Civil War. This is always capitalized, so we have to use a hyphen between the prefix and the capitalized word. Mid-October, post-World War II. So let's look at some sentence examples. My mom's birthday is in mid-August. The world is a safer place to live post-World War II. My friend's uncle is pro-Trump, and he is not happy about the election results. Okay, so these are just some examples of how you would use a hyphen between a prefix and a capitalized word. And finally, hyphen rule 5, use a hyphen with hyphenated compound words. Again, a compound word is formed when two words are combined to make a new word. There are 3 types of compound words: closed form, open form, and hyphenated. Today we're only going to talk about hyphenated compound words, and I'm going to give you some examples. I will create a video fully explaining compound words, but for a lot of these it's memorization because words that used to be hyphenated, for example, no longer are, and that makes them a closed form compound word. For example, email used to always be written like this with a hyphen, but over time it has become a closed form compound word and is written like this. So it used to be hyphenated, and now more and more people are just writing it as a closed form compound word. Another example is teenager. Teenager used to be written like this, but now it is written like this as a closed form compound word. Okay? But today we're just talking about hyphenated compound words, so you can stay tuned for a more in-depth lesson on compound words in the future. So some examples: brother-in-law. You would have 2 hyphens in this word to combine that to make that one word. In-laws, merry-go-round, runner-up. Okay, these are some examples of hyphenated compound words. Okay, so now that we've gone over the basic hyphen rules, it's time to practice. Where do you need to place hyphens in these sentences? I am in a long-term relationship. Is it a warm-blooded animal? That author is well known. His ex-girlfriend was cruel. Susan is 32 years old. Sean has a great mother-in-law. Dad's birthday is in mid-April. We are going to stay at an all-inclusive hotel. So I want you to go through this, maybe pause the video and write down where the hyphens should go in these sentences, or if you need to use hyphens at all. And once you're ready, press play and we'll go through the answers together. Okay, so number 1, I am in a long-term relationship. Here we need to use a hyphen between long and term. And we need to use a hyphen between long and term because we are combining both of these words to make a compound adjective to describe the relationship. And again, remember, we only use a hyphen when it comes before the noun or the word that we are modifying. The second one, is it a warm-blooded animal? Again, this is similar to the previous example. We're describing the animal and we're combining these two words to make a compound adjective. It is a warm-blooded animal. The next one, that author is well known. Now this one is a little bit trickier. With this one, we do not need to use a hyphen. If we said that is a well-known author, then we would put a hyphen because remember, we only use a hyphen when it comes before the noun or the word that we are describing. The next one, his ex-girlfriend was cruel. After the prefix ex, we have to use a hyphen. Susan is 32 years old. Again, remember that we use a hyphen between 21 and 99 to make a compound number. Sean has a great mother-in-law. Again, these are one of the hyphenated words that I was talking about in rule number 5. The hyphenated compound words, and a lot of these are memorization. Mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, all of these always need to be hyphenated. Dad's birthday is in mid-April. Here we're going to put a hyphen after mid, because remember, if the word that we're using after a prefix has a capital letter, we have to put a hyphen between the prefix and the capital letter. We are going to stay at an all-inclusive hotel. Again, so we have to put a hyphen after the prefixes all, ex, and self. Okay, so I want you to let me know in the comments section how many you got correct out of 8, and also try to practice creating or writing your own sentences using hyphens, following any of the different rules that we outlined in this video. I hope you learned something in this video and this has made it a bit easier to understand how and when we use hyphens. If you have any questions, you can ask your question in the comments section of this video. Make sure to subscribe to Sparkle English for more videos just like this one, and I will see you in my next lesson.